Welcome back here to WGC Fits. I'm Trent Maxwell, Director of Custom Club Fitting here at Windmill Golf Center. I'm here with Ian Hardesty. We're going to go over driver optimization today. So Ian's brought his Epic Max Gamer from last year, and we're going to have him hit some shots and talk about some of the results. So yeah, it is a good idea to talk about with your driver. I mean, if you've had it for 3, 4, 5 years, I mean, the technology changes really, really fast. So if you've had your driver for longer than 3 to 4 years, you should definitely look at something just to see, even if it's just an evaluation to see where you're at and see how close you are to optimized. So today, as we were talking about with Ian, I mean, driver optimization is very important. So previously, he had tried the Stealth driver, he had tried Sim 2, he tried the new Rogue drivers from Callaway, and he's picked up some yardage, he's picked up some forgiveness. I mean, his driver is from last year. It's not really that old, but the point of it is, if you want to be optimized, I mean, this technology changes really, really quickly.
Oh, yes.
So it's a good idea. If your driver's more than 3 years old, I would take a look at it, even if it's just, again, to get an evaluation of it, to see if it's worth upgrading or not.
I mean, previous to this driver, I had a Titleist one for about 4 to 5 years, and it served me well.
Okay.
But last year was just not performing well, so definitely needed an upgrade, and it was well worth it because instead of hitting like 4 fairways around, it turned into 7, 8, 9, 10 on a good day, which really lowered my scores.
Okay, Ian, why don't you give us a rip here? Well, that was a little left of target. We can give him a mulligan on that one.
Not bad.
It's his first attempt of the day.
It's not bad. Hey, that's what, 20
little
feet?
low spin. How's that ball flight?
That was good.
Okay. Yeah,
Let's hit one more.
I guess.
I mean, if you want 305 down the middle.
I mean, yeah, that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
We'll give him a mulligan on that first. I mean, it was his first driver swing of the day, so.
Thanks. I'm a little rusty from last week.
Oh, that one's killed. Maybe he doesn't need to switch into new drivers.
I don't know.
Maybe he just needs to go back to his gamer shaft.
Maybe I just need to believe, just trust what the fitter gave me the first time.
That's why fitting matters. It's not about just picking one off the shelf and just going to try it and go, oh, I really like this one. It's a really good idea to just try to narrow it down and make sure you have the right things in your hands.
Just a miss, but
just a miss? Okay.
Is that good enough? We good?
Let's do one more.
Okay.
As we saw previously, I mean, his driver height was a whole lot higher with the ones we were hitting kind of quote unquote off the shelf, just trying to test them. So now you're seeing how his height is down.
What is it?
116 instead of 140 plus. Now his landing angle's, where the pros want it, that 37 to 39 range.
That was good. I like that.
You like it? Okay, good.
I mean, that's my shot. Just a little bit.
All right. So looking at those, we brought up some of his shots from, previous episodes where he was testing the Rogue and the Stealth. If I bring in his gamer with the other shaft that he tried, you can kind of see his height was 144, his carry was 299, his total was 314. Now going to his actual shaft that he uses, which is a Smoke IM10 hazardous from True Temper. I mean, he picked up, obviously it's a different week, but he also picked up some yardage, picked up some club head speed, went from 117 to 118.5, but his carry distance went up 7 yards and his total distance went up 15 yards. So as you can see here, so we're on the optimization screen on TrackMan. A lot of questions come up in this when I'm doing fittings. These blue bars are your ideals. Ideals based on your measurables, which are down here at the bottom. But everyone's different. So what you'll kind of notice is this is, like I said, an optimization chart. Optimal for you at these measurables is 301. You hit it 307.
Okay.
So how's that possible? Because you're really high launch and low spin, which is pretty good, right? That's what they talk about on TV all the time.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So, yeah, I would hope so. Blue bars are, like I said, kind of the ideals. It's kind of where you want to be, but everyone's going to be a little different. So, like I said, we can see here, he hits it 6 yards past optimal carry-wise and 2 yards past optimal total-wise. So does he need to be blue bars all the way across? No. I mean, he's one of the rare examples where I would honestly say, looking at the numbers, yeah, those are really good. I don't necessarily need to have blue all the way across.
So are pros ever in the blue bars?
With an average person, I'm trying to get the blue all the way across. But everyone's a little bit different, and your speed's a little bit different. So you're on more the 1%. One percenter that's got that type of speed. So I'm not going to throw everyone in the same box, so to speak. But that's what's nice about the TrackMan optimization. It's taking each person and looking at them independently, not as, well, here's Bubba's numbers and here's what's ideal for Bubba. Well, most people aren't Bubba.
Yeah.
So we can't get there. But Bubba, if I was looking up at his screen, I mean, he's 122 club head speed. His carry is 319. I mean, Ian's not bad at 307, but it's still not 319. But he's also not swinging at 122.2 either. He's at 118. Yeah. So, again, everyone's different.
He launches it way high.
And the big difference with Bubba is instead of a negative attack angle, where Ian was at negative 1.7, Bubba's hitting 3 to 4 degrees up on it. So he's getting optimum launch numbers. So to answer your question is, are the pros ideal? Or are they blue all the way across? Some are, some aren't. It's going to depend on the player. I mean, that's why today's technology with drivers and golf balls, I mean, you can go into so much optimization that it's
scary.
It's scary. I mean, this isn't days of old where it's just pick a driver off the shelf and just go out and just try to get it to work for you. We're trying to get the driver to perform best for you and try so you don't have to change. You don't have to, well, is ideal attack angle positive? Yes. But you can swing negative with some of these new products and still get to optimal results. That's what's nice about today's technology.
So my thing is I think I hit down on it a little too much.
Okay. And why do you think that?
So what's the pro average? 1?
-1.
Okay, well, look, I just hear on TV how they hit up on it. Like Bubba hits up on it, and Bryson hits up on it.
Correct. And if you look at Bubba, I mean, yes, he's hitting up on it. He's hitting up on, Bubba does a lot of things that people can't do.
Yeah.
So, Bubba and Dustin Johnson and
Bryson.
Rory.
Is Rory?
Rory. Bryson's kind of level. I mean, he actually kind of hits down on it a little bit. Cameron Champ actually hits about 4 or 5 degrees down on it. So
really?
If you took 2 of the longest ones in this bay, Cameron Champ and Bubba Watson, they hit it entirely different. But they're both 2 of the longest hitters on tour. So you don't necessarily have to concentrate on attack angle. The only reason I would concentrate on attack angle is if I was swinging at, let's say 80, 85 miles an hour with driver and I'm trying to get as much as I possibly can out of it. I want to be positive then. If you look at the LPGA, their average is 2 degrees up on it. They're trying to be as efficient as they possibly can. They're trying to squeeze every single yard out of their drives. The best players on the PGA Tour, they want to hit it far, but they could kind of care less. Yeah. I mean, they're still trying to do they want accuracy more so than they want distance. They all hit it far. Yes. So that's why the average, if you look at Tiger was negative. He was a -1. So the optimization part of it, again, it's optimizing the driver or the iron for the player, not necessarily, well, here's the numbers and we gotta stick Ian in this box to get him to be optimized. That's where the confusion happens with optimization.
Okay.
What other questions do you have, Ian?
So when you see my misses going like way right, does that have anything to do with spin loft and how I'm hitting down on it too much? Does it make it more spinny and that's why spin loft's higher?
So the spin loft is basically, it's a different category. It's taking dynamic loft and attack angle. So with it being a negative attack angle and being, 13 degrees of loft, you're adding a little bit of loft at impact, and that negative is forcing it to add a little bit more. Is that making it go left or right? No, not really.
No.
That's really making it go high and low.
So
dynamic loft or spin loft, out of all the measurables or the variables here that this does, spin loft would be the least important out of the ones that are here.
So it doesn't add spin, really?
No, not really.
Then why
No.
is it called spin?
They got to name it something.
Got it. So yeah, I was confused about that because with spin loft being too high, but the spin being perfect, it just didn't make much sense to me. So thank you for clearing that up.
So that's why, again, I would take this as more of a rare instance that our numbers are kind of high and low across the charts, but we're still beating optimal. So it's kind of hard to beat optimal. So there's one of those times where I would say leave well enough alone and not worry about trying to get it to be perfectly blue all the way across.
I mean, I'm happy with those shots. I'm glad how they turned out. So
I'm happy with those results. It means I did my job and put you in a pretty good driver. So
I noticed they don't have descent angle on here. Isn't that pretty important?
it is, to a certain extent. So descent angle is going to be more important with irons than drivers. But when we're looking at drivers, descent angle, again, for PGA Tour players, we're looking at, which with E and speed, that's kind of what we're looking at. We're looking at 37 degrees to high 39 degrees. We want that ball to carry as far as it can, and we're not so much worried about the roll part. We're trying to get max carry and trying to roll a little bit.
Yeah.
If I was going to that average player swinging it at 100 miles an hour or less, now I'm trying to optimize as much carry and as much roll as possible. So when looking at that, we're going to look at a 30-degree landing angle. That's going to give us maximum carry, maximum roll.
Okay.
If we're playing in West Texas or Florida, maybe our landing angle is going to be a little bit lower because it's a little flatter, it's a little windier. We're trying to roll as far as possible. So maybe that landing angle can be, 27 degrees or 26 degrees.
Yeah.
But that's probably about as low as I'd want to see it. I mean, 30, for the average player, 30 is about ideal. That's maximum carry, maximum roll.
So to sum up, I don't really need to be in the blue boxes. I just need to be fairly close.
Correct. Yeah. I wouldn't so much, again, in your case specifically, I wouldn't so much worry about it being perfectly blue all the way across. If I'm doing a normal fitting with someone maybe I don't know, yeah, I'm really trying to get there as close as possible.
Yeah.
With you, since I've known you for such a long time, I didn't so much worry about the optimization numbers. I could kind of see where we were when we did the fitting, and we kind of knew that the numbers were pretty good. I didn't have to bring up the optimization chart and go, okay, this specifically is where I got to do it. It's nice to show people, though, that maybe aren't familiar or comfortable with me. They want to see if I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
So this is kind of
it gives it a structure so they can really see what's going on. I mean, if you just throw numbers at them all day without something to measure it to, they would just be confused and not know what you're doing. But the blue boxes make it like, okay, I'm trying to get here.
correct. It also is a good barometer if they're bringing in an older driver and they start off with that driver and they hit it and maybe they're blue all the way across. And I say, Mr. Jones, Mr. Smith, hey, that driver's really good for you, and here's why it's really good for you. So can I always pick up yardage on an older driver? Not always, because the driver today can't be any hotter than driver from 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. It can't be any hotter. Now, it can be more forgiving, it can be more efficient, but it can't be hotter. Because there's a legal limit that the USGA dictated 20 plus years ago that says, okay, it can't go faster than this.
Yeah.
The biggest difference now is just, again, freeing that up a little bit and trying to optimize the driver for the player. Well, that's all for today. Thank you again for joining us here at WGC Fits, and we'll see you next time.